How you doing? I have to admit, first and foremost, that I'm not very good at public speaking, so goodbye. I had the great pleasure of working with Mike Newell on a film a few years back called Donnie Brasco. And, oh, good, you saw that. I'm going to see it soon. While preparing for the film, and as part of our research, and in order to receive certain blessings from certain community leaders in and around New York City. They were Italian. We ended up spending quite a bit of time with these gentlemen. And I remember one night in particular, yes, it's coming, Mike, I'm sorry. I remember one night where a whole slew of us were having one of those very big, very Italian dinners. And Mike struck up a conversation with a very dapper-looking Italian gentleman who was seated at the head of the table, his back to the wall, with several very large Italian men surrounding him. And Mike and the guy seemed to be getting along famously. And then the grappa arrived. And then the sambuca arrived. And then most of us left. We were scheduled to rehearse very early the next morning. But Mike and the dapper gentlemen were planted firmly in their seats. And as it turns out, the dapper gentleman was, let's say, the leader of most of the other community leaders. And they were all Italian. So 7 a.m. the following morning arrives, and we go to this small cafe in Little Italy to rehearse. No Mike. 7:05, still no Mike. 7:10, the front door opens. Mike. But he was now the most magnificent shade of green that I think I've ever seen in my life. And there's really no name for that particular shade of green. It just was kind of unique to Mike at that particular moment. If I could reproduce that color, I might now call it Mike Newell green. Apparently what had happened is Mike and the Italian community leader had gotten themselves involved in a little contest that had only just been resolved. Anyway, so we all just kind of stared at Mike, just mesmerized. Mike sat down and commenced with his work. He was all ready to go. And then I think it was the silence that made him turn to us as we stared at his green, frankly. And he looked at us with this kind of, yeah, weird praying mantis thing happening. And we looked back, and it was frightening. And then finally he just blurted out, "I won." That's when you had me. I was all yours. So listen, Mike, you've won again. It's a great honor for me to present the John Schlesinger Britannia Award to my old pal, Mr. Mike Newell.